Hey, Miss G, tell me if you can hear me. It's so much clearer since I moved to the table to somewhere else. So tell me if y'all can see me. Tell me if y'all can hear me. Because now I got this thing set up. So, okay, so let me log on and show y'all my actual return. And while I go onto the screen, okay, I'm logging on to my screen. So now, let me first introduce myself to those who may not be familiar with my channel, and for those who may ask, well, who the hell is she to tell about taxes? My accountant told me I'm supposed to pay at the end of the year when I pay as many taxes, or they said I could write off everything to zero, et cetera, et cetera. So, number one, I have worked in the tax industry for over 20 years. I have an MBA degree as well as advanced courses in accounting. I'm not a CPA, not because I couldn't pass the test. It's because it's a very expensive test, an exam, for one thing. And I worked at the IRS since 1996. In various tax years I worked, and I worked from 10 and a half years, but in actuality, I have over 20 years of tax experience. I worked on the level of working for a private tax preparer firm. I've also worked as an independent contractor for TurboTax just this past tax season, but the company that I worked with, LiveOps, pretty much was a scam. I won't say it was a scam, but I am a certified product specialist for TurboTax and providing technical support. And hey, thank y'all for being patient. And I hope y'all can hear me clearly now. So hit me back and tell me y'all can hear me still. And I want to make sure I have a connection. So basically my experience, I'm gonna look at my chat. Okay, so I'm a product specialist for TurboTax. I worked from home with TurboTax with a third-party company. And basically what I did was assist those who had technical problems with TurboTax, as well as helping them answer questions about the product. I worked at very small different firms throughout my years, and I have an advanced degree from Strayer University in accounting. I worked at the IRS for over 10 and a half years, but in actuality, I worked there in 96, 97, 98, 2006 until 2016. So where I'm at in my life now is I'm developing to establish my own business, my own consulting firm. I want to do taxes, but that's not going to be my main focus in the coming year. But it will be product development, business development to help those who want to establish a business, and also as a tax consultant in regards to being a business owner. So that is my background in regards to taxes and finance. So what I'm going to talk to y'all today is really about my first year experience as a 1099 independent contractor in relation to taxes. And let me go back and tell you my journey. Now, after I left the IRS, because the IRS is a very stressful, out of all federal agencies, the IRS is probably one of the most hated organization, I could say, or agency than everything else. Every time I go on job interviews, every time I tell people about the IRS, I get this negative, oh, I hate the IRS. Ooh, I mean, you can hate the IRS, but don't direct it to people who work there, because we are all taxpayers as well. We're all taxpayers. We pay taxes just like everybody else. I don't get no special deals. I don't get no special perks. I don't have no inside breaks, If anything, my tax return is audited stricter, very more. Our returns as an employee. Well, I'm not an employee anymore, but as a federal employee, you're scrutinized way more than the typical taxpayer. Even though I'm a taxpayer citizen, you're scrutinized way more than the typical taxpayer. So for those who wants to always want to, please don't do that, because you never know. You're going to need somebody to help you one day. And it happens all the time. People come to me, I need help. I got this letter in the mail, as if I got a computer in my bag and I could log on and just answer questions, And I was, but anyway, I digress from that. So today I want to show you my taxes and how I get my tax return and answer questions that you may have in regards to taxes. Now, this is going to be something I'm not going to just do just because the tax season is here and that's it. Is over and that's all, because it's not. Taxes is a year-round cycle. It is a year-round thing that you need to be aware of and cognizant of year-round. Now, you may say, well, taxes ain't due again till next year, but let's think about it. The first quarter has already been passed, right? This is the first quarter of the year. That means you got 3 more quarters or 8 more months to figure out all your income for next year. The tax system is a pay-as-you-go system. So you say, what does that mean? Pay-as-you-go means as you earn the income, you pay the taxes. Now, most of us were W-2 employees, or some of us still are, or a combination of both. We work a part-time job or a full-time job, and we may do this gig economy work full-time. But let me tell you what I mean by that. The pay-as-you-go system is basically when you earn the income, you pay the taxes. Now, if you're a W-2, taxes are taken out of your withholdings every time you get paid, if you properly fill out your I-9. If you are an independent contractor and you work for Uber, you drive for Uber, you do Lyft, you do Grubhub, you do DoorDash, and all these gig jobs. Today is the first day that you're supposed to make your first estimated tax payment. A lot of people have been making videos and they've been telling that my accountant said that, you're supposed to pay at the end of the year. You keep the money in your account and then you pay at the end of the year. Most of y'all don't even have the money to pay at the end of the year, because if you work full time like I did last year, you ain't going to have the money to do it. But you're supposed to pay your quarterly estimated taxes today. It is due today. You're going to say, well, how much am I supposed to pay? Look at your last year's return. What did your taxes say? On that line, it says taxes. and it tells you how much you're supposed to pay. So let me go ahead and share you my screen, and I'm going to go over each and every part of it. Now, let me go back and share the screen. Now, why is this thing? All right. Hey, it's only two of y'all left. All right, y'all. I'm still here. All right, we're gonna share. Why is it taking this so long to come on? See, I don't like Google or YouTube. Okay, thanks, Miss G. Okay, y'all ain't need to see that ugly score. And these scores are not even true. I don't even know why Credit Karma even dare tell people that's their credit score. And that's not even the credit score. Okay, so as you could see, okay, can you see that part? Let me see. I'm gonna keep talking and see if y'all can see this screen. Can y'all see that screen? Okay, tell me you can see the screen now. It says my tax bracket, my tax packet. You see where it says my tax bracket, federal refund, $342, and the state $112. Okay, now this is going to be revised a little bit. It ain't going to be actually. You don't see it? Oh Lord, hold on. Okay, okay now. All right, can y'all see it now? because I'm looking at my phone, so y'all should see it now. I know y'all can see it now. Okay, it may be a delay. Y'all see it now? Okay, thank you. All right, so tell me, can y'all hear me? Tell me if y'all can hear me speaking, because I'm going to show you. I'm going to stay on this screen, and y'all not going to see my face. So we're going to really go by looking at this Credit Karma tax. Okay, now this is Credit Karma. Now, Credit Karma, as you can see, known from the commercials or advertisements, you could get your credit score. Now, don't go by this credit score from Credit Karma, because my credit score is like 100 points higher at the bank. So it's not really accurate. But they offer a free tax service where you could do your tax return for free. They do one state for free and they do one federal. But if you live in multiple states, they don't do multiple states. So let's go over now. Credit Karma is very easy to use. All you do is enter your basic information. As you can see, I have my basic information, my name, my filing status of single. I don't have any dependents. But if you had qualified dependents, you put that information below. But since this doesn't apply to me, I don't need to add it. However, let's go over this anyway. For those who may have dependents, you may get such credits as tax credit, additional child tax credit, credit for the elderly or disabled, dependent care, earned income credit, and adoption credit. So that is one of the things you want to know. Now I'm going to hide this because it doesn't apply to me. Now, last year, I had $2,711 of W-2s. And this is the income I made from the W-2. Now, some of y'all know I worked at Amazon from home, customer service. I was not an independent contractor. I was a W-2. So I made only $911. And then this Amazon virtual customer service where you see LLC, that was when this one was when I was working at the warehouse in Smyrna, processing those packages when I was working at night. Processing those packages. This was Amazon. And then this was the Amazon work from home when I was working in customer service. So if you work for Amazon, you can get multiple W-2s from the same company because these were considered two different divisions. Now, Adecco was when I was working at that temp agency, when I was working with them. Get out the way. People that pull up stupid stuff. So now this is the part where you add your W-2. Now let me go ahead and show y'all how easy it is to enter the information for W-2. Now, and this is when you do your own taxes, and it's not that hard. You enter all your information from the tax return, wages, $911, taxes that you paid and withholdings, which is here, line 2. And then, of course, you put Social Security, wages, tax withheld, Medicare, withholding, Social Security. Now, let me go back because now, once you enter all your W-2s, you want to report your health insurance. Now, let me tell you about the importance of the health insurance. Health insurance is basically everyone was required to pay the health insurance, whether they get it through the employer or whether you get Obamacare. But let's say, I couldn't afford to get Obamacare, and you could actually be exempt from paying the penalty that the government said they would charge. It was up to $650 of a penalty if you did not have health insurance. However, I was exempt from paying health insurance. So it says here, did anyone in your household have coverage for the whole year? And I said no. Are you claiming health insurance coverage exemption due to affordability? Yes. If you cannot afford the insurance, you can be exempt and you may not have to pay a tax penalty. So there's no penalty, as you can see. Premium tax credit. Now, premium tax credit basically is, did you have insurance through Obamacare? And if so, you get a 1095A. The 1095A. So if you had a 1095A, you would answer yes. Now, I'm not going to really go over that because that's like another video altogether, to be honest. Oops, I want to say yes. Go next. All right. All right, now, from there, now, this is where we're going to get to the nitty-gritty of things. Self-employment or side gigs. I had a business income from all of these companies. Now, let me show y'all. Before I had put in these loss, this $5,607 loss, I've made this income from all these companies. I made Grubhub. Let me show you. I made $10,532 for Grubhub. Y'all see that? And then from Uber Technologies now. And this right here, Mabel Bear Inc., you know that stupid Instacart, right? And this is what I made with Instacart. $8,116. That's what I made with Instacart. And this is Amazon. Now you say, well, there's no tax withholdings. You know, other income is not listed. It's going to show up as 1099 miscellaneous income. So let me actually show y'all something here. Student loan interest. If you ever pay student loan interest, you know this is what I paid in student loan interest. The student loan interest is going to reduce the income, which is the adjusted gross income. Now, home ownership. Oops. Donation to charity, uncommon income. Most people, if I got my state income refund last year. Because I itemized, meaning I did a Schedule A, I have to report my refund from the state. Unreimbursed job expenses. Let's go over this real quickly. When I was looking for a job, right, I had expenses for looking for a job. I had parking, fees, and tolls, which was like, MARTA card and parking fees, things of that nature. And this other business expense, $345, when I bought clothes. When I went on an interview, if you click on it, it says other business expenses. Job-related expenses not listed on this form. Business gifts, education, tuition fees, home office, trade publications, but it's limited. So I had put $345. Now, it's probably going to be more than this because I need to review my bank statement on my Wells Fargo account because I pretty much use my check card for everything. So I'm going to comb through my bank statements and start adding up some of these other expenses that I was not, that I may have missed. Now, this really applies to employers. If you work somewhere and you go out of town, you work for your company, and they reimburse you back, you got to include what they reimburse you back. Some people call it per diem. So if you had a business trip and you work for your company and they reimburse you back, that's where you put that money at. Because you cannot double dip, basically. You cannot claim the expense and then got reimbursed back at the same time. But that doesn't really apply to too many people. Now, I used my vehicle in service on July 20th, 2016. The total miles driven last year. Now, on my Stride account, let me see here. I'm going to go to Stride. Wait a minute. Now I'm going to look. I've used Stride to keep track of my miles. And let me show y'all real quickly. Okay, this is Stride, and with Stride, you could keep track of it from your mileage you could deduct. Now, when I clicked on Stride, this is you want to go to this website, and you can look at the mileage you could deduct, ride sharing. On the way to the first customer. So all the miles driven in search of your first passenger and miles driven from the last passenger back home are tax deductible. Work-related errands. See, all this right here tells you work-related errands, delivery. You're picking up groceries, you're picking up packages for Amazon or Live or, Grubhub, whomever. driving between deliveries. See? So you see all this right here? This gives you some valuable expenses: cleaning supplies, passenger goodies, phone and service, office supplies, public transportation, business cards, hot bags and blankets, food and drink. Food and drink. Now, food and drink, you could deduct 50% or half of your food and drink expense. You can't deduct the whole thing. It's only half of it. Now, you see all this right here? Let me show you on my return where that's at. This is my vehicle expenses. Now, this is not right because I was trying to guess what it is. So on the Stride app, you can actually download the previous year's expenses and they could track it. So from here, you answer the questions as it relates to you. You hit next. Let me show y'all something real quick. This is the income that I've made. 268, 8,116, 5,859. However, let's click on each of these. And this Amazon, 19,850. Let's click on that real quickly. What I really should have done with this part was not include Amazon as the business name. I could actually put my name, like TPS delivery service, to include all the income and then deduct it. So this is the part where we're going to start. This 651 is the income I made from Amazon. However, all of these expenses on here is what I would keep track of. So what I would do is create a spreadsheet and include all those figures that I kept track last year and put it in each of these boxes. So there are a lot of things that I have to include, which I did not include. So in actuality, this needs to be not Amazon, but because this is actually that Premier travel business that I had. Premier Travel. This was out of my home. And in actuality, this is not for Uber or Grubhub. This is my actual home business. So I didn't make any money for this, so I need to put this at 0. Oops. I can't edit it until I actually. All right, let me go back. All right, y'all. What questions y'all got? Because what questions do y'all have? Because I want to make sure I wasn't going too fast. Because what you want to do, okay, all right, so you see, I'm gonna go back and share my screen again. So what you do basically when you do it is you want to really keep track of your expenses throughout the year. So for instance, advertising, if you spend any money in advertising for your business. So Avon, say you do your Avon business, you advertise, you print flyers, you go to Office Max. What the hell? Hello? This is she. You will call me back tomorrow. I don't know yet. All right, then. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so say for instance, you have a business and you spend money on advertising, whether printing up flyers, brochures, anything related to advertising. You put that there, commission and fees. Now, I'm gonna redo mine over because I had a travel business, and even though I didn't promote it anytime this year, I paid fees to start that business. So I will put down my fees that I paid for this company. It was Global Travel. Mortgage interest. I can't include mortgage interest because I already had that on the Schedule A. So I don't want to include that double. You can't double dip, basically. Legal and professional services. Sometimes people pay that legal fees, like legal shield, things of that nature, office expenses, paper, supplies, anything of that nature. Rent or leasing your office business property. Hey, co-leases. Now, let me tell you, if you work from home, now this is just the business income expenses. Let me go ahead and click next and go to the next part. Premier travel business use of your home. Did you claim expensive use of your home? Yes, I did. Now, whether you are let me explain the difference between the two. Simple method versus detailed method. Simple method. Now, let's go and look at simple method real quickly. Simple method basically is where you will take your area used exclusive for business. My room was 250 square feet. The total square footage of my home is 19,096 square feet. And the profit and loss from the Schedule C, it was already this has already been calculated from the previous screen, 19,199. That's a loss. This income here, 651, that was from the Uber. I don't believe I did $651 in Uber. I sworn I made more, but I could be wrong. By the time it took away from the previous expenses, it showed up as a $19,999 loss. Now, this is where most people who don't ignore this part right here, Premier Travel, because this is simply the business name, which is only one of my Schedule C's. So in actuality, I'm going to have several Schedule C's. You're welcome, Colises. So now, for most people, you're going to have expenses of use of your car related to your business. Now, let me click on this question mark real quick. So you want to check yes. You want to make sure you claim your car expenses. So yes, that is. This is what I was talking about. To reduce the record keeping, the IRS will allow taxpayers to use no more than 5 vehicles. You can't have a fleet of cars for your business, you know. And besides, you would not be filing this type of return if you have that type of business. So you won't file a 1040 if you are a business owner with that much assets and liabilities. So now you want to talk depreciation. This is a depreciation method, MACRS. Uberman Tampa is live. Oh, he was going all over the dang place. So anyway, so let's go on to talk about depreciation of your vehicle. Now, my return is not complete, to be honest with y'all, because even though I'm getting a small refund, I have to go back. I just simply filled in a lot of these numbers is because I wanted to show y'all in the live stream of my actual numbers itself, because everybody's numbers are going to be different. So I had a Kia Optima. I placed this car in service. Let me see. I didn't really place this service in March 2017. I actually placed this service back in 2016. So I got to revise this date a little bit. But as it relates to, for illustration purposes, I'm going to put this date in there. So whatever date you first use your car for business, that's the date you want to put in. If you don't have to give the exact date, just give an estimate date. Because the important numbers comes into play is this. What was the business miles driven in 2017? Now, when I used Stride, it told me that it told me I drove, this is not right. I drove more than 21,000. I was putting in this for illustration. So I put about 30,000 miles, but you don't want to be too round the figures on it. The average commuting miles for me, it was probably about 60. So let's click on that and see. Generate commuting miles. Travel is between your home and the work location. However, travel miles that meets any of the following conditions is not commuting. You have at least one regular work location away from home, and the travel is to a temporary work location in the same trade or business regardless of the distance. Temporary work location is one where your employment is expected to last 1 year or less. This publication will tell you the travel is to a temporary work location outside the metropolitan area where you live and normally work. Your business is your principal place of business under Section 2080A, subsection 1A. Let me tell you what all that means. Let's say, for instance, at my job that I started last week, I can't deduct those miles from my house to my new job because that's a regular job. So I can't deduct that. I have to calculate the commuting miles for that's not business use because I was going from home to my regular job. Now, if I leave my regular job and I started doing Uber Eats or whatever, then I turn on my Stride app and start the mile tractor from that point on. So from when I left work today, I did one Uber Eats order, right? So I turned on the app. Oh, did I turn it on today? Did I turn it on? Well, I figured it out. So I turned on the app from my job and I started doing Uber Eats or Deliv or whatever. That's when I turned on the app. However, before that, I was not working yet. So when I left my house every day to do Uber Eats, Grubhub, Deliv, Amazon, Grubhub, whomever, I turned on my Stride app from my house and I drove until I got a ping and started keeping track of the mileage that whole entire day. When you turn off your app for Uber or Grubhub or Lyft and say, you know what, I'm turning off the app, I'm not picking up no more people, you still keep the app turned on until you get home. Don't turn off your Stride app because you turned on Uber Eats or whatever. You keep it on because you have to go back home. So you keep track of the miles. You turn it in your Strive app when you get home at the end of the day or the night. So for business purposes, it's 54 cents a mile. So let's go and move on to the next section. Now, let's look at actual expenses. You can use the standard mileage rate, 54 cents a mile. Let's click on that real quickly. To answer these questions, was there another vehicle used for personal use? Actually, this should be yes, because I had that old Corolla. Was the vehicle available for personal use during the off business? Yes, yes. I have evidence. The evidence I have to support the claims is that app that keep track of the miles, whether you buy MyIQ, whether you use Stride, or whether you use paper and pen, that's still evidence that you could do it. So the election to utilize the standard mileage rate for reporting your expenses for car one means that it would not be necessary to compute depreciation. If you use more than 4 vehicles for your business at the same time, you will be required to use the actual expense method. So that means if you have multiple vehicles, you got to use the actual expense. So I'm going to go back, change that back to no. I'll decide which one I'm going to use based on, okay, the total car expenses for this vehicle based on the information you enter is $16,095. And this is where it comes from. Please enter the following information about your business below. Oil change. I figured I spent about $360. Gas, $4,160. Tires, $1,150 in tires. There's some other expenses I need to include, but I have not yet added up all my expenses yet. So I'm going to add other expenses related to the vehicle. Oil change, gas, tires, repairs, brakes. See, repairs would be those brakes. So when I had my brakes done, I forgot to include that. That was $630 for that damn Kia. Well, let me stop talking bad about my car. So there were other things too, but I can't figure it out what it is now. But I'll add that. I'm just gonna show y'all quickly. So we're gonna move on from depreciation. And let's look at Grubhub real quickly. Now, Grubhub, I put that name here, right? But I could either put the address of Grubhub, actually. This business, it belonged to me. This is really not the classification. It's not an accommodation or room and boarding. I don't know. This is really unclassified because I can't classify exactly what it is. But this is supposed to be, it could be under couriers and messenger. Because there's really no category yet. But I'm quite sure they'll start adding something else to this category real quickly. But you want to come to the closest with your business. Now, say you have multiple businesses. Now, let's take Avon, for example. Avon, you still here? Which one of y'all want to be the guinea pig for the business that I could tell y'all examples of? Because then I could tell y'all what to do. So, say you do Avon. You could have a Schedule C for your Avon business. You would actually have another Schedule C for your Uber Eats or Grubhub. So you actually could have multiple You could have multiple Schedule Cs, by the way. Now, this income was $10,532, right? But I'm going to have to include all of these different things that are included: repair and maintenance. See, part of my home was used for business, right? And I had some damages in my home. So I could actually include repair and maintenance in that category. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. I'll be back. Are we talking about? That's my turn. You can. All right, y'all, I'm back. Oops. Okay, so there's a lot of things I need to include. So utilities, as you can see, will include a second line, telephone. If you read here, it says if you use your home phone for business, do not deduct the base rate, include taxes off the first line of your home residence, but you can deduct additional costs if you incur for business that's in one base rate of the first line. If you had a second line, you could deduct the business percentage of the charges for that line, including the base rate charges. I don't know what base rate charges they're talking about, but you can deduct that. Now, let me go ahead and look at something real quick. Okay, what I'm doing here is showing y'all, what I'm showing y'all here is this. There's an email of my 2017 expenses. And this is my expenses from, this is my expenses of the breakdown of my expenses from all of last year. Okay, y'all see this right here? This was my deductible mileage, 20,372.55 miles, which equates to $10,899.32. And then it breaks down each of the expenses. So what I'm going to do is look at each category: meals and entertainment, office supplies, and this is all of 2017. And you see how it breaks down each of the categories in the app. And I downloaded this spreadsheet. So right here it has total tax deduction $13,507.57. So this expense is what I'm going to, this expense is what is going to be put over here. So I'm going to take all of this. See, I'm missing a whole lot of stuff. I have not even, so I'm going to take all of this and incorporate it into this area of my return. Right here. Carryover from last year. If you had any carryover, basically, if you had, say, over the limit, you could carry that over from last year. All right, let me stop sharing this right now. For now. All right, y'all, I'm back. Any questions? I know I may have gone fast, so do y'all have any questions? Ask now. Is anybody still on here? Let me ask that question. Okay, I still see three of y'all still on here. So tell me what y'all gotta say. Tell me what y'all needing, what y'all want to look at again. Y'all got any questions? Can y'all hear me? Or did y'all hear me? Anyone still on here? Tell me, tell me yes or no, because I'm gonna stay on here for a few more minutes, and after that, I will end the live stream, and I'll have to talk to y'all to another day. But let me just give you an overview about my experiences as a full-time independent driver. Oops. Okay, you okay? Well, do you have any other questions in general? Because you may want to, like I said, taxes is not something you just do once a year. It's something you need to think about throughout the whole year. You have to think about, of course, most of us know that you're really not going to make a profit in these gig jobs. You're going to incur a whole lot of expenses. And, with all these rate cuts going on and changes, it's not just happening with Uber. A lot of times, a lot of focus is spent on Uber because they the first, they the largest, they have the most money. All right, thank you, Miss Jean. Thank you, everyone. And one thing I could say for sure that learning about taxes and being an independent contractor or working in these gig economy jobs that I've done in these last year and a half, going on 2 years, it's been a very rewarding experience. It's been a very interesting experience. And one of the things I could tell y'all for sure is that this new economy of independent contracting, 1099, it's no more going to be where you are able to work for a company and stay there for 10, 15, 20 years and get a pension and enjoy the fruits of the labor of being paid very well. Even if you're in the industry of hello? Hello? This is she. Fine. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I need to review all the candidates before I could make it. All right. I'll review her qualifications. Thank you. People ought to be campaigning. You could get your support for the Cap County Superior Court. Man, please, that kiss my butt. You know how I feel about the Cap County at times. It's crookedness. Anyway, before I was disturbed, what was I about to say? Okay, so one thing that I learned with these gig jobs that I've done as it relates to my own personal taxes is is how much you really, I was so used to working, being an employee, follow my taxes, you know, getting like $3,000, $4,000 worth of my return because, or my refund, because that's payments that I made paying over taxes. As an independent contractor, you know, I was fortunate to make, say, about 24,000 a year, give or take. And how I was able to still manage to pay my mortgage, pay my car note, pay my basic living expenses, and really budgeting. I didn't truly budget per se. I didn't really write down a budget, but um, it just shows the importance of budgeting and having an emergency fund. I think that if I wasn't able to save throughout the year, because you know what I used to do? Every tax year, I used to save all my tax refund. I would split it up into three different accounts. I didn't just get the money and people say, "Oh, I'm gonna pay bills." A lot of people claim they're gonna pay bills when they get their refund check, but some people really don't. They get suckered in buying a car that they don't really need to buy, or if they do need a car, they'll buy the first brand new top of the line car and say, you know, rather than investing in it. So me, I put my money aside, was able to buy a home. I was able to establish an emergency fund. Um, you know, I didn't splurge on the money. So this year, for the first time, to get 300 something dollars, that's the lowest refund I've ever received ever in life. Um, and even though I made 20 something thousand, 23,000, that was almost half of my income that I used to make before I left the service center. I was making 50,000 something, but then to make almost half of that and still be able to pay my bills, because like I said, I used the refund wisely in the sense of I didn't really invest in anything. I didn't invest in stocks or mutual funds and things of that nature, but um, it shows that when you're working these gig jobs, you have to be more responsible and knowledgeable, more so than anything else. You know, Ta- taxes as a full-time independent contractor per se. Um, it just kind of shows that you have to really, if you truly want to be an entrepreneur, you have to um, think of your own innovative ideas. You know, a lot of people like to say, "Oh, Uber's my own business. This is your business. Treat it as your own business." Yeah, you can treat it as your own business, but I think people get confused about treating it as your own business versus knowing how to be professional in a public service job is different. You could be professional in your in your in you performing the job because one, you still represent that company that you're doing food deliveries for. Hello? Hey. Oh, okay. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Yeah, all you do the drug test and that's it. You just come on Monday. Well, the first place you go to is the corporate the one in Buckhead, because you got to go to like an onboarding session. It's like in the auditorium. Yeah, you're gonna be in the auditorium with a whole bunch of other people, and they're gonna go. You ain't gonna do nothing that day. They're gonna tell you about the attendance and stuff like that. And yeah, huh? Yeah, you get life insurance. You get life insurance. You get health, medical, dental, stuff like that. No, they use United Healthcare. Because they contract, because you don't work for United Healthcare, but you'll be contracted with United Healthcare, so you get the insurance. It's through United Healthcare. No, it ain't free. It's not that much. I mean, I haven't looked at it, completely, because they still waiting to send us the link for to sign up. But you could call the number, because the insurance starts from day one. So if I need to go to the dentist or go to the doctor, I can actually go now. So I just need to sign up for. Yeah, you get vision, you get everything, just like any other company. Yeah. And then I can't. No, life insurance is free. They pay for the life insurance. You pay for your health insurance, vision, and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember what it is, but I mean, it ain't like no $1 million policy, but it's yeah. Yeah, they'll go over that. I mean, I have to pack it and stuff, and I have you have to do it the first 30 days. So you do it the first 30 days, and then of course they're gonna take it out when you get paid. So they'll take it out for that month. So it's not bad, but like I said, you still have the retirement plan. Of course, you got to be a year, and they'll contribute the first 6%. So you could do it. And then they also have what they call it when you pay for your you could set money aside for. Yeah, they got that. You pay with a credit card. Give you a little debit card, and you pay your expenses and put it aside for extra coverage and stuff. Like I said, those nitwits at that place, let me tell you. I mean, don't get me wrong, but they are real young. You find out but I don't get it. I don't get involved in all that. If you do your work, come to work on time, and don't be confrontational. Shoot, next thing you know, you could be promoted real easily in that place. So I ain't gonna study behind them. They so childish, and even the people in my class, they childish, and they be talking stupid stuff. Like this one girl, she came in there and she was showing us the actual work we be doing. And I was like, man, that's easy. I said it wasn't, for what I'll be doing. And this one girl, it was like, girl, we were just looking at your body. I was like, we not gay or nothing. I said, it sounds like you're a lesbian the way y'all going on her. Like, ooh, look at her. I was like, what's wrong with y'all? I was like, shut up. And then there's one black guy in the class. He from Columbus. He's like, girl, and good. He can't talk for shit. And he's just going on and on. I was like, shut the hell up. It was like from 6 a.m. all the way till time to go home. They just talking and talking and talking. I said, do y'all take a breather? And the only time you hear them not talking is because they falling asleep. If they didn't fall asleep, it was like, oof.